This week in San Francisco, there's a big culinary event called SF Chefs. Some of the best Bay Area chefs are going to be there to celebrate food and have a great time. So all the chefs at this event serve one dish at their booth. I've got to come up with something that's going to wow everybody for us to serve at our booth. All right. Chef, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Ryan.
Good. Hey, before we even get started real quick, my Sharpie blew up in my hand, so just ignore it, guys, as I'm talking on the camera this morning. So guess what's coming up? SF Chefs is coming up. And Curtis and I have been trying to figure out what we're gonna do, what's the inspiration gonna be, right. And that's the tired face of, yes, another event and another thing that we have to do. So a lot of what we're based around here at Market and Rye and this pastry department is classic with a twist, right? Right. So this is a lot of what our inspiration was. Here's a classic, we call it classic pie here, but nobody else would really actually consider it a classic pie. So what we have here is our little blackberry Cabernet compote with a lime curd and pastry cream on top, right?
Perfect, yes.
Awesome. All right, so talk about the pie, about the classic aspects, and what we're gonna do at SF Chefs.
Okay, so we just use a really classic, simple brisket recipe.
Okay.
I thought we could take that and do little mini ones. We have the mini pie shells that we can bake the brisket in.
So you want to make 1,500 mini little pies?
Yeah, well, we're going to go all out, right?
You can make 1,500 little mini pies. I'm busy that day.
It'll be worth it, though.
All right.
The crust is really awesome. That's what's really going to sell this dessert to people. So and then we can just fill it with the same.
Do you guys see this? Look at this. This is what I love about the crust. You can't see right here. Look at the layers and the depth of that crust right there. There's like 15 little croissants sitting on top of each other, which is just like love with butter with love with butter with love. So, all right, so we're gonna go with that crust really, really small, right?
Yeah, we'll do little itty bitty ones, maybe 2 bites, and then fill it with the blackberry Cabernet compote. So
a compote can be, what is a compote? Talk to us about that real quick.
It's basically just berries and sugar cooked down, maybe some sort of liquid. We added Cabernet into this and just cooked and reduced it down. Kind of forms like a jelly, but not as jelly-like. It's a little more fluid.
So this is like an adult version of a compote, like with wine inside of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, well, it's SF Chefs.
Okay, I'm down, dude. Anything with alcohol in it, let's just keep serving it. So
yeah, and it goes really nicely with the blackberries. So
okay, so blackberries and then the curd aspect.
We can, I think it's going to be too many compotes to fit into an itty bitty shell, so we can remove that and add the lime into the compote. So we'll do a blackberry lime compote instead, and there we get our lime aspect. And then we can just finish it with some of the pastry cream. And also thought that maybe we could take the wine and do like a little caviar out of it, like a Cabernet caviar out of it.
Like fish caviar?
Yeah, well, yeah, similar to. It looks similar to, but and then we can put that on top.
So I want to show you guys how to make this great dessert. So Curtis is going to do his little rendition of it with small little bites. Instead, I'm going to show you how to make my beautiful larger version of this pie right here. So I want to show you how to make this crust. Really simple, we take all-purpose flour, dump that in right there. We add a little bit of sugar and we add a little bit of salt. So we add sugar, we add salt. The key thing is when doing this, you want to make sure that you're mixing your salt and your sugars together with your flours, that it's evenly incorporated all the way around. So what we're going to do now, add our butter to our flour. And what I'm literally doing is I'm pushing the butter through the flour. It's called frissage. Next trick, 1 whole egg. We're going to add this to our bowl here. And then we add sour cream. Sour cream is going to give us a nice amount of fat, and then also the tang from the sour cream is going to give that perfect little bite, that acid bite that we want. So remember, sour cream. And then if you don't add ice water, you're going to have a problem, okay? We've got cold butter, cold water. I'm going to add the ice water to this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my mixture up here. So just like I do my vinaigrettes, I'm going to dress the wall. And we're gonna lightly bring this whole mixture together. It could use a tad bit more water. See how it's a little bit dry right here, but I'm still wet on these sides? I can tell that I can use just a little bit more ice water, which is gonna be my binder. So I'm gonna bring my dough together, and I'm gonna give it the ultimate test, which is the tall guy with the hat on behind me, to make sure that I'm good. Are we good? Should I add more water or
No, don't add any more water.
Perfect.
Yeah, you don't want to add more water than this. You want it to be kind of shaggy because if it's too wet now, it's going to be really wet by the time you use it.
This is
It'll
not
be
too wet,
heavy.
right?
No, this is great. This is great.
Good. So I'm gonna take some plastic wrap and we're gonna form this. You wanna form this with me?
You're going to leave it a little loose so that you have room to press it down. And you're just going to give it a little
So you want it
light press.
loosey-goosey, grainy,
Yeah.
just like that, huh?
Yeah, right. And then you're just going to take your rolling pin and just press it down and help to compact it. Are you
Tell you
boss?
what, this is therapy that you don't have to pay for, and you actually get a reward at the end. You get a full belly. I like that. See how it's emulsifying? Check this out. Look how it's coming together as he's just pressing it.
Just gently. You don't need to work it too much. And then that goes in the refrigerator.
So I know everybody has a fridge this size at home, right? Check this guy out. It's only the size of like a only the size of a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, but here we go. I'm gonna let that dough cool down for a minute. That way we can roll it out a lot easier. Don't get all that mess. We're totally busy right now. Come on, dude, get out of here. Come on. Go. All right, so now the dough has been in the fridge for an hour, 2 hours. Just remember, as long as it's cold, that's really all that matters. Cold is gonna make sure that you can actually roll the dough out. So what we're gonna do, take the dough, take it out of the plastic. Flour is gonna be your friend, okay? You wanna make sure that you liberally dust your top here, that the dough will be able to work with you, okay? Remember, you want the dough to work with you don't want it to work you, okay? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. All right, so now I'm gonna take my dough, pop this bad boy out on top of here. I'm gonna put a little bit more on top, and I would give you my rolling method, but I'm gonna give it to the big boss man to show you guys how exactly you should be working with, you know, a dough and roll it out exactly the way it should be.
Right, so you just want to make sure that you keep even thickness, so you don't want to roll it too far in any direction.
I'll do the commentary for you. So basically what he said was even thickness all the way through.
And just keep rotating it, adding flour if it feels sticky. Thanks.
I'm making you do the hard part, so I might as well help you, right?
It's the fun part.
The fun part. All right, so now our dough is
Just
rocked
about
out.
there, yep.
Okay, so now we're rolled up inside there. That's a good little trick, by the way. That's a great way to get it totally even.
And we're gonna get our pan.
You see how we're doing this here? What we're doing is we're lifting up and easing down, right?
Right.
Lifting up and easing down to make sure that we can get it all the way to the bottom without tearing the dough, right? From here, we're gonna blind bake. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of parchment, all right?
And then we're just gonna weight it down with some beans.
The main thing is you wanna make sure your crust doesn't bubble up. This is gonna pop in the oven how long?
I do it about, I check after 15 minutes on 375. Probably it'll take about 30, 35 minutes total.
I'm gonna grab the tart shell out. And Curtis, do you want to do the commentary like the Olympics of how beautiful and golden this is and how people should see that this, see how this, okay, apparently I just did that. All right, so Curtis, you want to stay a little bit from here or are we good?
No, it looks great, it looks perfect.
We're gonna give this a couple minutes, let it cool down, and then we're gonna do the filling.
Yes.
Cool. So Curtis, could this be any kind of jam?
You can fill it with anything. You can fill it with jams, you can fill it with creams, you can fill it with fresh fruit, even savory stuff.
All right, so we're gonna put a little bit layer of this.
Yes.
All the way around?
Yeah, that's great. Everybody gets a taste.
Everybody gets a bite of lime curdville. All right, so pastry cream.
And it's just eggs, sugar, vanilla. Has a little bit of gelatin in there and to help it set. And then I fold in soft peak whipped cream at the end.
Beautiful. So you notice how I'm dropping it, guys, and I'm not trying to smear it because I don't want to disturb what we got going on the bottom, right?
And just
What do we want
to
to do?
Smooth it out.
Just kind of have a little fun?
Yeah.
Kind of do like my mom's version of a nice little pie. Kind of just let it have a couple peaks, have fun. If you could, if you would, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of fresh berries on top.
Absolutely.
So there you guys go. Here's a beautiful, simple little spin on a dessert pie that nobody would ever think of. We only have, how many?
1,500.
1,500 of these to make now. So I wish you guys a lot of luck. I'm good at making big pies, but 1,500 of these is gonna be a lot of fun. Coming up, the first day of SF Chefs begins.